Hello, my name is Russell Myers, independent for U.S. President for 2024. So, Trump and his campaign is threatening to impose a 60% tariff on imports from China. Now, something I want to talk about. All right, so first of all, Trump imposed a 20% tariff when he was in office before. The effects of this have been analyzed, and a report came out in 2019 which stated that it had cost, that this 20% tariff had cost 300,000 American jobs. The benefit of this is increased tax revenue, which peaked at 3.9%, but it shows a diminishing return. That 3.9% decreased eventually to around 2%. Some estimates say it cost close to $2 trillion worth of stock value, a decline in stock values. And overall, what it did is China doesn't pay all tariffs. China doesn't pay the tariff. The American consumer pays the tariff. So what it really means is that when you walk into a store and you see something costing 20% more, you're going to rethink, you're going to buy less. So the other effect of this is that estimates say that 20% tariff cost the American consumer household over $800 a year. That was with a 20% tariff. Now, if you triple that to 60%, that is over $2,400, around $2,500 a year in increased expenses. Keep in mind that Biden kept the Trump tariffs on China. It never went away. And then, Biden has increased trade restrictions on China, and including placing restrictions on U.S. businesses, investors in China. Well, who really got hurt from that was the U.S. investors. It wasn't that China didn't have investors or didn't continue with their business plans. It just meant that U.S. investors got no part of it, of the benefits of those investments. So you impose tariffs. Let's take a look at what has happened with the sanctions on Russia. Did that mean that Russia lost trade on oil or other goods? No, they just expanded trade elsewhere, and in many cases what happened was that they sold oil such as to India, who processed the oil into diesel or gasoline or in other oil-related goods, and then they turned around and sold the same things to Europe and other countries that were abiding by the sanctions. Russia still sold their oil. In fact, their oil revenue has gone up. How's the Russian economy doing? Actually doing extremely well. So, did this work? No, it did not work. Tariffs. If you place tariffs on another country, what you do is you increase the cost of living for your own citizens. Then, okay, you impose tariffs. The opposing country that you impose tariffs on, and Trump also wants to impose a 10% tariffs on goods from European countries and South American countries, all this kind of thing. These countries can turn around and impose tariffs on U.S. goods. What does that do? That decreases American exports, which decreases American manufacturing, which decreases American jobs, which decreases American incomes. And I'm getting to that. All right? So, will this stop? I use the India issue with oil as an example. Well, this isn't going to stop the import of Chinese goods. What's going to happen is that, yes, U.S. imports from Mexico have increased. To increase manufacturing in the country requires what? It requires investments. Well, if that country doesn't have the money to invest directly, and then if the government does direct investment, then then the U.S. is going to call it socialism, and then that's evil. So unless they borrow money from the IMF and go into debt to the United States, and then it's not socialism anymore. The government can borrow the money to use for investment to increase production, and that's not socialism. But if they use their own money to invest in increasing production, that's socialism. Make sense of it. Just try and make sense of it. If they go into debt, then it's good. If they don't go into debt, then it's socialism. Sure. Okay. All right. So, you know who has invested in expanding manufacturing in Mexico and other South American countries and Brazil and so forth and so on? China. By 500% they have increased their production in Mexico alone, which means so U.S. imports from Mexico have increased, but you're still buying Chinese goods. Now, this does help Mexico. It does. It provides jobs. It increases wages in Mexico. It increases tax revenue for Mexico. This is good. But you're not achieving anything. You haven't done anything except to increase prices for American consumers. Now, of course, you can use anecdotal evidence to say that some goods have gone down, like flat screen TVs. Well, now you're going into supply and demand. American consumers are spending less on durable goods like flat screen TVs, which means that you have an increased supply as opposed to demand. What happens when when that occurs? The price comes down. This is not a good sign. It's not. 70% of the goods that are sold through Walmart come from Mexico. Come from China. Who knows what the percentage is of the durable goods sold through Amazon? Who knows? Durable goods, a lot of pharmaceuticals especially over-the-counter pharmaceuticals. These things are produced in China and sold here So you impose a 60% tariff, you're increasing the price on all these things. Your clothes, your shoes, on and on and on. This is not good. It's not good for the economy. You increase the price of raw materials or even finished materials that U.S. businesses need, including retailers. They have to increase their prices. What does that do? That decreases the volume of trade. That they wind and you wind up losing American jobs. So we talk about increasing manufacturing. Well, Mexico has increased manufacturing with Chinese investment. What are we increasing our manufacturing of? I can't name anything but oil. Can you? How about jobs? Tech companies have been on a wave of layoffs since last year. Hundreds of thousands of tech jobs. Banking, financial services, insurance, all these things are living wage jobs. The medical jobs are laying off. Hundreds of thousands in October alone. We lost over 900,000 jobs. Okay? Now, you can keep on claiming that jobs are being created. Well, even I think it was Bloomberg determined that 90% of the jobs being created are part-time or contract, gig, etc., which I'm assuming that they include in part-time. And American media tries to convince you that Americans just want more part-time jobs. And sure, they want to go from a full-time job with a particular schedule, a set schedule, and with benefits, vacation time, and health insurance, and they want to take multiple part-time jobs instead, which causes. I've done that. That's what that does to your schedule is just unreal, because each one is going to have different demands. One might want you to work Monday through Thursday, Monday through Wednesday, and the other one wants you to work different hours on Thursday through Sunday. So you wind up with less time off, no benefits, and chances are your pay is lower. No, that's not what Americans want. That's not why union members are protesting and workers are protesting across the country. This is all harmful. Yeah, you can, vote for whoever, but understand what you're voting for. Because these are the things you're voting for. You're voting for more part-time jobs. You're voting to eliminate jobs. You're voting for higher consumer prices, higher costs of living, even as your rent and your cost of housing and your cost of energy goes up because of conflict, because Russia bad, China bad, Venezuela bad, Iran bad, everyone bad, everyone bad. That's it. What does this cost you? And what do you benefit from it? Are you seeing any benefit from it? I'm not. My own pay has decreased in the past year. As a nurse, my pay has decreased. Large part of that probably because we're losing nursing jobs but we don't have an increase in nurses. Let's go to another point. Let's say you want to increase manufacturing. Well, to increase manufacturing, there has to be a market. In other words, somebody has to buy what you intend to produce. But Europe is in recession. Americans' savings, because prices have gone up so much, American savings are now at the lowest point since, the Great Depression, something like that. People have started rating their retirement accounts, their 401ks, and so forth. Loan defaults are rising, bankruptcies are increasing. More young Americans, 18 to 29, are living at home than at any point since at least the 1940s. Homelessness is rising. More Americans are relying on food banks than in the last, 50 years or so, since highest rate since it started being tracked, because they can't afford food. Yeah, my pay went down, my cost of living has gone up. I am for cooperation, not competition. I am in favor of diplomacy, not conflict. I'm for, if you increase cooperation, you can increase jobs. This can be done. It should be done. This is something that runs in cycles. You cannot impose some kind of tariffs, sanctions, punishments on other countries because they're doing well. You can't limit the technological advancements of other countries because that is going to fail. Americans act like China learned absolutely everything from American manufacturing that was done in China. That's not true, because China has had people going to other countries to learn for decades. They're very big on education, while we punish our students with massive student loan debt. And they have universal adult education. They have students going all over the world. They didn't learn just from us. They have, as far as learning, they've learned from America, Germany, France, everyone. They've learned from all over, from Russia, and then they take that knowledge back and they keep applying it, and they keep expanding that knowledge. If you don't just memorize things that you've learned, they don't just memorize and then repeat what they've learned. That's not knowledge. That's not what China has ever done. And it's not what they're doing now. They keep on expanding on that knowledge, combining and improving their own abilities on their own. They are making advances that you just don't hear about in Western media. I mean, they're working on a vehicle that runs on ammonia. They're working on sodium-ion batteries. They've developed 7-nanometer chips. Most technology doesn't need a 2-nanometer chip. That's unless you're running a supercomputer. But even then, you can just use more chips. But the 7-nanometer chips, but they're working on these things. We're not going to stop them. We're not going to stop them from trading. If they lose American trade, they'll increase. They've already increased trade with the entire global South, Russia, India, Brazil, Mexico, Africa. While we rely on, they keep on investing in these things. They invest in infrastructure in other countries. They invest in manufacturing in other countries, which benefits the other countries. Like it or not, it does. Under the terms that they're using, it does. Yeah, they make a profit off it. So would we, if we actually did it. But they keep on doing this, and we keep on using threats. It doesn't work. All that is happening is that other countries are turning away from us and towards BRICS. They're trading in local currencies, which devalues the dollar. Yeah, Saudi Arabia and China are trading for oil in yuan. UAE, same thing. Is this doing us any good? No, it's harming us. It's only a matter of time before we really see the effects of it, and that time is not far off. We can't encourage, vote for, and cheer for policies that are suicidal, because that's what we're doing if we continue on this route. All right. I am in favor of a more cooperative global approach. People say they oppose globalism, but then the same people will invest in companies that are selling, exporting, importing from other countries. And if you're not trading with other countries, your currency will collapse. It will. But we're going to see that. We're going to see that. We cannot be isolationist. We can't criticize North Korea for being isolationist and then be isolationists ourselves. We can't try and get investments or tourists from other countries while being isolationists. You act like you hate other countries, but then say, hey, come here and spend your money. No, that doesn't work. It's foolish. It's suicidal. All right? So either you want somebody that is going to continue ramping up confrontation, competition, isolationism, nationalism, hatred, prejudice, and either you can continue that, or you can vote for somebody that has a completely different view, a more constructive, cooperative view, ending conflicts. Anyway, so make your choice. You're going one direction or the other. You make the choice which direction we're going. You are making the choice. All right. Share this video. Talk about these subjects. If you can afford it, please donate whatever you can to help expand this campaign, and I will catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day.